One day, a gate randomly appears in Japan. Knights, goblins, and fantasy creatures pour out of it into the streets, killing indiscriminately for what appears to be no reason at all. While this is going on, an otaku is trying to attend an anime convention, but jumps into action once everything unfolds, saving tons of lives in the process. That otaku's name is Atami, and he gets promoted to first lieutenant due to his heroic actions on that fateful day. Once promoted, he's tasked with leading a squad beyond the gate and establishing relations with the people on the other side by any means necessary. It is established that Atami is a good dude. He seems to try and get out of responsibilities whenever he can, but he accepts new responsibility based on his morals as well. He can be a bit of a goofball, but when he gets serious, that demands attention, and it doesn't feel like a character shift, but instead feels like who he truly is. It was a delicate balance, but I believe they actually got it right here. When it comes to his troops, they consist of a tomboyish brawler named Shino Kurabayashi, a sweet, gentle, and thoughtful medic named Mari Kuakawa, another otaku such as himself named Kurata, an older sergeant named Tomata, and others I can't seem to recall right now due to the large cast of characters throughout the series. They balance each other out nicely and get scenes that complement them as the show goes on, just not enough screen time to truly develop them all. When it comes to the main characters from the other side, we come across a powerful wizard and his genius progeny, a silver-haired girl named Lalelena, who picks up the Japanese language rather quickly, becoming a huge asset as a valuable interpreter. She also picks up magic just as fast, not being a slouch in combat either, excelling wherever it is needed. She may not be outwardly social, but having to interpret was the perfect way to balance that aspect of her out. On the other side of the coin, we have a deadly dark-haired demigod that inspires fear in the hearts of her enemies, and she gets pretty turned on as the lives of her around her goes out. Her name's Rory Mercury. She steals most of the scenes she is in and has one of the best ones in the entire show. She's extremely social, not afraid to open her mouth, cause a bit of trouble, and kill whoever she decides would look nicely as a sacrifice to the god she's an apostle of, which fittingly so is the god of death. She has a surprising amount of depth under the surface, and if there's a season 3, I would love to see it explored further. We also have a blonde elf girl with PTSD that survived a dragon attack that the rest of her village did not. She unwillingly suppresses the memory, which is a very real thing, and leads to some spoilers that I won't bring up here. They handle it decently, coming from someone who has experienced suppressed memories from trauma, but the show consistently tries to remain lighthearted and doesn't let itself get too dark with its subject matter, so keep that in mind. It's not distasteful, I don't believe, just not a deep psychological case study either. Lastly, we have a princess named Pina Colada. No, seriously, that's her name. She has an army all of her own and has a habit of catastrophizing situations by overthinking far too often. She's beloved by those that follow her, quick to do what is needed to protect others, and slow to place blame without questioning herself first. All these characters are just the main ones, with tons of side characters and a multitude of interactions between them. I brought these ones up to say that they all feel a bit underdeveloped. Even with 2 seasons and 24 episodes, it feels like we don't really know much about them besides what I said earlier in my quick summaries. That doesn't make them bad characters, quite the contrary, but it shows a problem that many may have with the series: the pacing, as some things may feel rushed and in turn less impactful as well. That doesn't mean that the show lacks any merit though. The consequences of Japan venturing through the gate in the first place, as well as the Empire going through the gate as well, are both displayed well, especially in the second season. The other side of the gate is called, very originally, the Special Region. The JSDF represent modern culture and advancements in technology and society. The Special Region, however, represent a new land, untapped resources, territory to gain, and technological inferiority that mirrors historical instances of colonial powers exploiting resources of underdeveloped nations for economic gain. It also tackles ethical dilemmas in terms of military intervention. To avoid spoilers, let's just say it highlights the fine line between self-defense, self-interest, and aggressive aggression, bringing up what is considered justifiable military action in a foreign land. It also brings up how alliances and territorial conquest is strategic globally as well. Japan's involvement in the special region is calculated in terms of international politics and underscores geopolitical power struggles in their complexity as a whole. Lastly, and most obviously, it does a grand job showcasing cultural clashes as well as the difficulties and therefore rewards presented in bridging cultural divides, from the language barrier to the misunderstanding in terms of technology to differing treatments of prisoners and tactics of war. No matter what its main focus is, it's showing two very different time periods, very different cultures coming together as one, and how that will affect them both. It doesn't pull it off perfectly, but you won't see another try quite like it. Although Drifters is another, albeit far different, attempt on a similar idea. Drifting away from the socio-political aspect of things, let's talk about the animation itself. The juxtaposition of modern military hardware such as tanks, choppers, fighters, and even the rifles and uniforms themselves against the backdrop of a fantasy world meshes together rather well actually. The architecture of both sides of the gates highlights the differences well. The characters' designs contrast their personalities nicely for the most part, and the action scenes, when well realized, are well choreographed and depicted rather well, even though it isn't normally the main focus. But most importantly is fun factor, and with all its faults, I have a lot of fun with this one, even on a rewatch. It's not perfect, it's not entirely original, but it embraces its cliches and in doing so, finds a sweet spot in its own lane, a place where the humor lands just enough, where the craziness of it all can have some sanity behind it, and lend itself to a fun and surprisingly deep adventure with a large cast of colorful characters that all have their own time to shine. This is a surprisingly divisive show with extremes with people on both sides, and I have no idea why. When I said I wanted to make a video on Gate, I never expected so much division when the show is about unity, uniting two very different ways of life, many different races of people, cultures of people, beliefs of people, all leading together, fighting together, and united together. Let people enjoy the show if they enjoy it. Acknowledge the merits with the faults, and remember those that fought to give you the right to voice your opinion in the first place. Not everyone can openly do so. So remember the soldiers that have, are, and would have to risk their lives going into the unknown, fighting for you through the proverbial gate. For more news, reviews, and whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed. Have a great day. Thank you.